Welcome everybody to game number 1 of the Oyster Cup, while East Coast Express takes on 902 Elite from Nova Scotia. The first time these teams have seen each other this year. We've played each other in previous seasons. Obviously, things change from year to year at this age, so we're not sure what to expect exactly from these guys. We got Caden Christian battling for the puck. Puck comes out over the blue line. Jasper Nelson in pursuit, along with Emmett Tabor and Caden Christian. 902 Elite moves the puck up quickly, off to McGillis. I apologize to any 902 Elite fans that are watching. I don't have a roster, but I'll do my best to read names on the back of jerseys when I can. All right. Here we go. Carter Hayes coming up through the middle of the ice. Passes up to Jasper Nelson. Puck gets lost. Caden Christian on the forward check, manages to disrupt the puck. Sends it loose into the corner. Emmett Tabor. Emmett Tabor picks up the corner, loses it, and the puck moves back the other way with 902 Elite driving wide on Reed Friars. Brady Neal comes in to support. Puck comes into the opposite corner. Puck moved up ice by Ashton Hanna and just misses Liam Werner, who's now battling for a puck along the boards with Kyle Locker. Brady Neal, it's a quick cutback in the corner. Attempts to move the puck up to Ashton Hannon, gets disrupted by the 902 Elite, and the puck is knocked out of the zone for icing. Two line changes here that I can see from the last couple of games that we've played. This line here, we have Liam Werner with Kyle Lockery and Ashton Hannon. Brady Neal on defense. Looks like maybe he was just joined by... Nope, still Reed Friars, yeah. Puck comes up the board. Goes to Cal. We got 2-on-1 here. Cal and Liam. Cal gets puck across Liam, not quite on target. Gets knocked away by the 902 Elite. Puck gets dumped back in by Reed, but picked up in the middle of the ice by 902 Elite. Carter Hayes making a move to the net. Drops it off for Ashton Hannon. Hannon moving back into the corner. Cross check in the corner by Ashton. That's seen by the referee, and we're going to get a call on it. And that'll put the Express shorthanded for 2 minutes or less here while Ashton Hannon goes to the box for cross-checking. Apologize for some of the strange focuses here. There's netting around the entire rink. Most of the time it's not in the way, but every once in a while the camera doesn't seem to like it. So on the penalty kill. Face-off won by Express, but turns over to the defense on 902 Elite. That's Reed. Kyle Lockery coming out to challenge the point. Puck gets passed down to the half wall. Moves to the middle of the ice, disrupted by Liam Werner, but the puck gets shot back in on net. 2 saves by Grayson Tricky here. Grayson looking good on his first couple shots of the game. Always tough for the goalie to get their first shots on the power play, but Grayson stood tall and managed to stop a shot and a rebound. Good for him. And the face-off on our end. Puck gets one back to the corner. Reese Vincent in pursuit. Puck gets dislodged and moved to the front of the net by 902 Elite. Still controlling the puck well here. Pass to the blue line. Pass back down to the boards. Through the middle of the ice. That's picked off by Werner, who will send that down the ice, and we'll get a full change by Express here. Four new penalty killers. We've got Ian Moffett with Ty Moran, Reed Friars, and Max Clark out for the penalty kill. Puck's disrupted by Max Clark, goes to Ian Moffett. Moffett will get it out of the zone. Lands in front of Ty Moran, who will get caught with a high stick, and we'll have a face-off here at center. That's a high stick by 902 Elite, so the puck comes to their blue line. Time ran on the draw, flips over to Reed Friars. Reed will just put it into the zone. He's got one guy pressuring here. Time ran, reaches for it, doesn't quite get a hold of it. Reed Friars cuts back, loses a wheel, loses an edge, falls down. Puck to the blue line. Time ran playing forward position. We get another full line change here. Good job by the Express, keeping the chances limited on the power or on the penalty kill. Puck comes down the wall. Down in the corner for number 77. 77 will pass it out to Stoner here on the blue line. Stoner puts it back down the wall for Ald. Ald gets it to the corner. Back to the blue line by the Elite. Back down the wall. Going to attack off the wall, look for a shot. Gets disrupted a little bit by Cal Lockery with the sticks, good sticks getting in the way there. Let's go to the opposite side of the ice. Reed Fires battling in the corner. We've got Cal Lockery and Jackson Flood as the forwards on this penalty kill. Puck drops in front of the net. Handled by Grayson Tricky on the shot. Penalties expired now. We're going to go back to 5-on-5 hockey here. Being fixed it on the draw. Puck gets one to the 902 Elite blue line. Dump back into the zone. We've got Reese Vincent going to collect the puck. Brady Neal out front. Reese will move that puck up the wall to Jasper Nelson. Jasper on forward here for this game, at least at this particular moment. Reese Vincent gets the puck forward. Jasper passes the puck into the zone and starts to attack. What's that? It's not live right? It's recorded because there's no good internet in here, but I'll upload it. Sorry about that. Just a couple questions from parents looking for a stream. Unfortunately, the internet in here at Cody Banks Arena is not the greatest today, so we're not able to live broadcast, but we will upload this as soon as the game is over so that anyone who's looking for the game can watch it immediately afterwards. Puck comes out, gets deflected by Jasper Nelson, knocked on to Grayson Tricky. We'll freeze that, and we'll get a line change. 6:49 remaining in the first period here. There's been a lot of action in the East Coast Express end, but that's primarily due to the fact that we had an early penalty. Express is looking to build some momentum here off of a couple of quick line changes, get everybody back into the game, and see if we can get some chances down in the 902 Elite end again. Puck gets come back into the zone. Cutter Hayes coming up the boards. Tries to get it out, not quite. Picked up by Ashton Hannon. Ashton makes a nice move to gain the blue line. Gets turned back at center, but moves the puck over to Max Clark, who's going to drive up the ice. Max gains the offensive zone. We'll try to put the puck in net, blocked by 902 Elite. Puck is dumped back into the zone by Liam Werner. Picked up by Cal Walker behind the net. Good stick check there, knocks it over to the corner. Puck comes out to Carter. Carter takes a shot, goes off of Cal's foot, and comes out to the center ice. Max Clark able to get back to it without too much trouble, but when he does put it up the ice, it's picked off by 902 Elite. Get a 2-on-1 here. Good save by Grayson Tricky. Puck comes back out front, moves up the ice. Cal Walker in pursuit, but 902 Elite. Stoner will pick up the puck, tips it over to Murray. Murray's going to move that up the wall to McGillis. McGillis stands on the puck, but it's still in his feet. Unfortunately, it's offside. I guess fortunately for Express, unfortunately for the Elite. That puck is offside, and we will get a draw. Time ran. Jackson Flood, Ian Moffat on the draw. Puck is one back to Stoner. We got Moffat forechecking, Flood forechecking. Time ran play in the middle. Puck turns back. Back to Stoner again. Looking up the wall. Got two guys on the puck. Puck moves over. Tries to get it up to center, does, but we got Brady Neal pressuring. Puck keeps coming back into the 902 Elite zone. He's doing a good job of using the space behind them to find opportunities. Nice stretch pass to the offensive blue line. Gets shot on net as Reed Fires goes down trying to make a block. Gets by him, but not very well, and Grayson's able to handle that. Puck comes up the wall, not quite far enough to the winger. Gets back behind the net. Looking for the defense. Gets out. Gets picked off by Kai Moran and Ian Moffat. Kai will just put that to the opposite side of the ice so they can get a line change. Jackson Flood and Kai and Ian all go. So now we've got the line of Caden Christian, Jasper Nelson, and Emmett Tabor on the ice. Puck gets thrown up the ice by the Elite, hits the linesman on the chest, and it's kept in. Nice pass, secondary option to get it to the opposite side of the ice. Puck moves into the zone. Down into the corner, we got Reese Vincent battling. Puck gets cycled behind the net. Good job by Carter Hayes to pick that off from behind the net. He'll move it up the ice. Driving gets the red line and just dumps it in, avoids icing. Puck takes a weird bounce off the board, so it goes to the 902 elite player, but a good forecheck by Emmett Tabor allows us to turn this into an opportunity to try to get some offensive zone time. Unfortunately, it comes out, and now we get a 3-on-2. Great job by Max Clark to disrupt the 3-on-2 on the wall. Tries for a pass out front, gets picked off by Carter Hayes. Caden Christian in the zone now, picks it up in the middle, loses it in front of the net though. Pucks down behind the net, gets passed out front, misses its intended target, goes to Jasper Nelson. Jasper's just going to put that off the board so he can get a quick change. 902 elite back into the zone. Again, quick pass up to Barber, it looks like. Yep, Barber will take the blue line, moves it back, get a cross-ice pass so they can gain the zone. Lots of passing before gaining the blue line here. So Express did a good job of kind of holding that line, keeping them from gaining an easy zone entry. Cal Lockery on the forecheck manages to disrupt the puck, but not quite enough. Gets by Ashton Hannon, and the 902 elite will go back into the zone. Forechecking on Reed. Reed to Max. Max up to Cal. Cal gets pressured in the neutral zone and loses the puck. 902 elite coming back the other way. We've got Murray trying to gain the zone. Can't quite get by Lockery. Goes back to O'Neill. O'Neill makes a play up to his player in the neutral zone. He'll cycle back again. Looks for that stretch pass up to the blue line. He gains it. Tries to bump that over to Murray. Doesn't quite connect, and Cal Lockery's able to get it back up the ice. Puck comes down, goes to Brady Neal. Brady Neal's going to circle back around, see if he can find a pass. Gets it over, just out of reach of Ian Moffett. Goes to Stoner. Ian now pressuring. Jackson Flood on the opposite side. Puck goes to O'Neill. Jackson Flood gets it, dumps it into the zone. With a cross-check to Cal Lockery. No call there as he's trying to get off the ice. Jackson Flood pressuring behind the net. Ian looking to take a pass away. Jackson goes to the wall. Here comes Ty Moran in support. Doesn't quite get a piece of it, but they're keeping them in their zone. Good forechecking here. Not allowing any clean passes out. Murray picks up the puck in the neutral zone, gets it over to McGillis. McGillis will try to go one-on-one on Reese Vincent. Reese Vincent is disrupted enough that Kai can get it back into the neutral zone. Pass over to the blue line, gets disrupted by Reese Vincent again. Moffett on the forecheck. Doesn't quite get the puck. Puck goes to Vincent. Vincent picks it up. He's going to drive into the zone and get Express's first shot of the first shot since the power play. We've got 2 minutes and 7 seconds left. Not a whole lot of shooting and offensive chances going on here. Really a tight checking game on both sides. A couple of the Express lines are doing a good job of forechecking and forcing 902 elite to stay in their end, but they are keeping possession, and that's a dangerous game to play. Face off won by 902 elite against Caden Christian. Puck moves up to the board. Pass off the wall to Murphy. Murphy's going to look to the weak side, hits Smith. Smith dumps the puck into the offensive zone or the Express zone. Caden Christian back to pick it up. Cycles it back for Max Clark. Max takes the lane in the middle of the ice. Gets the puck up ice to Jasper Nelson, but unfortunately it's behind him. Doesn't quite pick it up right, and it gets turned back over to the 902 elite. Emmett Tabor on the forecheck. Cross ice pass to the D. Up to Murphy. Murphy flips for all, but gets picked off by Carter Hayes. Jasper Nelson tries to move it up the ice, but tight checking here again. Caden Christian finds Max Clark on the weak side. Hits Jasper Nelson coming in the zone. Jasper will get that puck into the zone, deep into the corner for Emmett Tabor, who goes in for the forecheck. Doesn't quite get there in time. And now we've got Reeves driving through the neutral zone, and he'll just dump that puck in again. Carter Hayes coming up the wall. Gets the puck to Liam Werner. Liam Werner in a battle on the boards. Unfortunately gets caught by Ald at the blue line. Sent back in. Puck behind the net for Carter Hayes. Carter Hayes looks for that center ice pass to Cal Lockery. Cal can't quite pick it up, and it gets turned over at the neutral zone again. Battle here with Cal Lockery and Ashton Hannon. Puck comes out to Reeves. Reeves will go to his D partner. Back to Reeves. Back up the wall. Nice zone exit here by the 902 elite. They'll attack one-on-one on Reeves Flyers. Can't quite get by him. Puck gets thrown up the wall by Brady Neal, and that will go down, not quite for icing, so 902 elite will be forced to play in their zone. D-to-D pass, Ashton Hannon on the forecheck. Cal Lockery attempts to pass by him. Another cross-ice pass to Hallett. They're doing a good job of finding that stretch pass option and moving the puck there. Good job by Brady Neal and behind the net to free up the puck, and it's picked up by Reed Fires, who loses it at the midboard trying to come up the wall. Puck goes to the D by 902 elite. Shot in on net, blocked by Reed Fires. Shot on goal, and nice save by Grayson Tricky. That's his toughest save of the game so far, as that one just popped out in front of the net. Grace stood tall and managed to pick it off. we're going to get a roughing call on Brady Neal, and that's going to be that play behind the net. Did a good job separating the puck, maybe just a little too hard onto the boards, and now we're going to be killing a penalty again here. So we've got Reese Vincent, Ian Moffat, Carter Hayes, and Kai Moran set up for the draw on the penalty kill. Kai gets the puck out, but it goes to the defense. Ian Moffat comes up back into the center of the zone, cover his area. Up to the D, Reese Vincent comes in to challenge. Puck gets dumped into the corner. Carter Hayes going in, pressure. Puck comes up the wall. Can't quite get through there to the D. And a little give and go play here. Comes out to Kai Moran, who will get that puck down the ice. In on the change as well as Kai, and the 902 Elite will also go for a forward change. Only 17 seconds here on the penalty, or on the power play, or the period rather. A minute 20 seconds remaining on the power play. So unless something happens here in the next 8 seconds, especially going into the second period, short-handed. Puck gets cycled back into the corner. Jasper and Nelson looking to pressure. Comes over Caden Christian, again looking to pressure. Not enough time for the puck to come back up the ice, and that'll do it for period number 1. 0-0 after 1 between East Coast Express and 902 Elite. All right. And here we go, period number 2. Referee blows the whistle. We'll call them in for the draw at center. Lining up, we've got Caden Christian, Emmett Tabor, Max Clark, and Reed Pryor. Again, we're short-handed starting the second period here. Here we go for second period action. Draws one back by Caden Christian, but gathered up by the winger on the 902 Elite, and then get the puck back to the D, and they're going to collect. Caden Christian's going to force the puck to go cross ice. Comes up the wall, nice breakout here, gets over to the center, but can't quite get a piece of it. Max Clark picks it off in the middle of the ice, tries to throw it out down the ice, and gets knocked away at center by a skate. Caden Christian wins the battle on the boards, manages to fire the puck down the ice. It's going to go down, handled by the 902 Elite goalie. A little bit of a disruption up front here, Emmett Tabor with a good chance to try to score a short-handed goal, but it doesn't manage to quite get into the net. Going to be another penalty here for Express Hockey. That's Caden Christian, I believe. It's going to be going to the box for that one. A little bit of too much body contact. Shot on net. Grayson Tricky handles it and picks it up. It's going to be 21 seconds of 5-on-3 as we end up with 2 guys in the box. That one is going to go for interference. And it is Caden Christian. So he throws the body in a little hard. Guy goes down a little soft, and that ends up being called as a penalty. Caden wasn't going to play on the puck. Unfortunately, sometimes those things happen. Referees see what they see. So on the defensive zone, 5-on-3, Ashton Hannon wins it back. Unfortunately, the 5-on-3, there's less bodies, nobody there. Managed to get cycled back behind the net by 902 Elite. 902 Elite goes up the wall to Lewis Christie. Lewis Christie gets that puck back down in the corner for Ogg. Ogg's going to attack out of the corner, pass across. Good job, Carter Hayes to be in the passing lane, and that goes off the skate and doesn't cause any problems. Puck goes over the corner, gets dumped back in by 902 Elite. We are now 5-on-4 as the penalty to Brady Neal expires. Reese Vincent in the battle in front of the net. We're going to have to be careful not to take another penalty here. They're definitely calling the contact a lot tighter than we do back home. Christie gets around the D, manages to get a shot off. Stick goes flying. Looks like that's Carter Hayes who managed to recover it. Reese Vincent in the corner battling. Ashton Hannon for support. Puck comes up the wall. Nobody there because we're 5-on-4. We got two guys low. Puck goes off. Grayson Tricky's blocker manages to keep it out of harm's way. Good save. Puck gets cycled back again behind the net. Goes to Reese Vincent. Reese gets it up the wall. Hits the defender. Doesn't come out, but it goes to Ashton Hannon, who manages to find some ice in the neutral zone to get that deep. We're going to go ahead and get a change here on the forward side. Actually, a full-sail change on the express side. That goes to 902 Elite. They come back up the board. 38 seconds left on the penalty kill. That puck gets dumped in on net and handled by Grayson Tricky, who's just going to freeze that and get us the draw. All right. And here we go. 33 seconds remaining in the power play. Puck is one clean, back to the D. For 902 Elite. Puck comes in front, just misses Hallett's stick. Has a great opportunity, but fails to connect. It's flipped back to the D by Barber. Gets picked off on attempted pass down to the front of the net by Reed Friars. Max Stark in the corner manages to get a piece of it, but not enough to get it out. Puck goes behind the net, blocked by Reed. Played by Grayson Tricky. That comes out front, but gets kicked back the opposite way. Just manages to get a piece of it and get it back down the ice. Going to be handled by the 902 Elite goalie. He's going to leave that there. That's for Nelson pressuring. 902 Elite beats the pressure pretty cleanly. Gets the puck up the ice to Mood, and that's the end of the penalty to Express. So we're back to 5-on-5 hockey. We got Kai Moran racing against Stoner for a puck. Kai gets there, but not quite far enough to get a piece of the puck. Stoner puts it up to a weak side, goes over to Max Stark, who puts it in deep. Kai Moran's offside, manages to get back onside. We'll get Jackson Flood in for check. Ian Moffat taking away a pass in the neutral zone. Pass gets over to the opposite side of the ice. They gain the zone, and it's going to go in and get taken away by Reed Friars. Reed with a little simple poke check, takes that off the stick, puts it up the wall to Jackson Flood, who puts it out. Gets to Reed Friars, rather. Gets 5, Kai Moran back into the zone. This is McGillis attacking from the corner. Tries to pass, cross-crease pass, and Ian Moffat with a stick lift to stop the shot at the last second. Pass again across the front of the net. Max Stark there to take away the cross-crease pass. Looking like 902 Elite is really looking for that cross-crease one-timer or tip-in, and Express has done a good job so far of getting sticks in lanes and taking that opportunity away from them. Tries to put the puck behind the net, but it bounces a little funny and ends up on the same side. Gets picked up by 902 Elite, goes up the wall. Ian Moffat in to disrupt it with Kai Moran. Reed Friars picks it up, gets it back to Max Stark behind the net. Back out front, nobody there. Good stick to take that away. Puck's going to go up to Reed. He'll just get it to Ian, we'll get it out. And we're going to continue to press. Murray comes in, takes the puck. Good stick to disrupt that by Reed. Shot on net by Grayson. Grayson handles it clean. Keeps it in the good rebound area. And the puck comes out front. Another save. And Grayson's just going to dive on that. Frees it up. Grayson Tricky, again, having a great game here so far. Looking pretty steady. And the defense on the Express side is doing a good job of making sure that pucks can't go to the weak side and get banged in when they shouldn't. We're going to get an Express power play here. Didn't see the penalty or what the call was, but we do have a 902 Elite player in the box. Must have been something after the whistle, and I'm not entirely sure what it was. But either way, Express power play, first opportunity today, so we're going to have some 5-on-4 action. Puck comes back to Brady Neal. Brady gets that back down to Ashton Hannon on the wall. Ashton down to Caden Christian in the corner. Caden's going to drive up the wall, switch places with Ashton, move that to Brady Neal. Brady's going to walk in, just puts the puck into the opposite corner, and 902 Elite gets a piece of it, drives it down the ice. Now we're in a foot race between the 902 Elite player, Ald, and Brady Neal. Ald comes up with the puck, but Jasper Nelson gets back to take it away, moves it up to Caden Christian. Caden gets banged against the boards, no call there, and then the puck comes back down the ice. Now we've got pass up the ice by Cal Lockery. Cal's going to move that over to Nelson. Nelson's going to get that deep. Caden Christian into forecheck behind the net. Puck comes back out and around. Nobody there on the blue line, unfortunately. He was going for a change, and it manages to come out. Good job, Ashton Hannon on the back check to pick it up. Puck goes over to Reed Friars. Reed's going to take a look up the ice, see what he can find. Reed makes one simple move around the forecheck pressure, moves the puck over to Nelson. Nelson's going to take a look. No options in the corner. Gets disrupted by a double team, and the puck is won back by Cal Lockery. Cal's moving up the wall, moves back down on the corner, moves that puck down to Caden Christian in the corner. Caden on the half wall, moves it to the middle of the ice, finds Reed Friars. Reed goes in for the shot. No, he goes for the pass. Doesn't quite get through, but it was a good look over for Cal. Can't quite find the back of the net or get a full strength shot on that. Puck just dumped down the ice by 902 Elite. So pressuring, Reed's going to take his time behind the net, look for a stretch pass up the ice. He gets by everybody, and that's going to go for icing. I'm not sure how that managed to get by everybody. Unfortunately, it does, and we're going to come back down into our zone for a face-off. We've got Ty Moran, Emmett Tabor, and Liam Werner on the draw. Puck is won by Ty Moran back, but it's picked up by the 902 Elite. Barber gets the quick shot on that on Grayson Tricky. Grayson managed to handle that fairly readily. Ty's going to come off the ice. Caden Christian rather is going to join his line. Ty's just out to give Caden a bit of a break as he was on the ice. In the first unit here, puck gets moved up the ice by Liam Werner. Reese Vincent in to get it, can't quite get a piece of it. Good forecheck pressure behind the net. Gets turned over by Emmett Tabor. Puck comes over to Christian. Christian can't quite handle it, but he does manage to get the puck back as Werner has his man pinned against the boards. Christian finds Hayes. Hayes with a shot on net, handled by the 902 Elite goalie and frozen. So we'll have a face-off in the offensive zone as we return to 5-on-5 action. Ty Moran, Jackson Flood, Ian Moffat on the ice, along with Reese Vincent and Carter Hayes. Look, gets one into the corner. Gets picked up by 902 Elite. 902 Elite looking for the breakout. Manages to put the puck past Carter Hayes, but he's going to win the race back. He's just going to look for Ian Moffat up the wall. Ian comes in, manages to get the piece of the puck, but on the double team loses it. Carter Hayes back into the corner, disrupts the puck, tries to put it up the wall, gets cut off. Ty Moran helping in the corner. Again, puck comes up the wall, not quite far enough. Gets it up the wall to Ian. Ian's going to get a piece of it, gets it out. Good second effort on the blue line to kick that out of the zone. Doesn't quite find Jackson Flood. Puck gets turned back around. Ian on the pressure. Puck comes up the wall. Bit of a back check. Ian comes up with it. Gets knocked down. No call. Right in front of the referee. They've been calling that all day. I'm not sure why this one's on a call. Shot on net. Grayson Tricky picks it up. Ian comes in. Puts it off the boards. Ty Moran gets it out to the blue line, but not out. Picked up by the 902 Elite defenseman. Puck goes over to Reese Vincent. Reese is just going to throw that down the ice on net. Oh, not quite on net. Goes for icing. The attempt was to put it on net so we could get a change here, and ended up just barely missing the net. A little bit of a curl on it. Goes beside the net instead. Face off on our end. Cal Lockery wins it over to Max Stark. Max going to put it behind the net for Reed Friars. Reed Friars gets it up the wall for Ashton Hannon. Ashton looks to the middle. Can't see it. Hits Liam Werner on the cross-ice pass. Now we've got a 2-on-1 here if we can get to the puck, but Reeves manages to get back to it first. Reeves stops behind the net. Two guys pressuring. Manages to make a move. Nice nifty move behind the net to get freed up. Moves the puck up the ice. Comes off Barber's stick. Now we're in a foot race between Reed Friars and Barber. Reed gets that around the back of the net for Max Stark. Max goes up to Liam Werner. Liam puts it up the wall. Comes back to Reeves. Now Lockery on the support manages to get the puck as Reeves tries to put it up the ice. However, when he tries to make the cross-ice pass to Ashton Hannon, he gets picked off by a sprawling Reeves. Puck goes back into the corner again. Foul pulled down, no call on that. Probably shouldn't have been a call if I'm honest. I know the fans wanted one, but this is two guys getting tied up. So now we have 902 Elite driving into the zone. Good play by Max Burke on Barber to shut that down. Tries to move the puck up the wall. We've got both defensemen on the same side here. Cal Walker managed to come out with it. Good thing. Managed to get that over to Emmett Tabor. Emmett's going to drive in. Just get the puck deep. Gets checked into the corner. And then he will come back, try to make a play. 902 Elite, again, moving up the ice. Caden Christian in a little bit of a battle. 902 Elite comes in. 2-on-3 with the trailer. 902 Elite player falls down in the corner. Brady Neal comes up with it, gets it up the wall, but not all the way out. It comes out enough, but 902 Elite recover quickly and are back in on the forecheck. Puck comes up the wall to Jasper Nelson. Jasper moves that up for Caden Christian. Caden Christian on Lewis Christie disrupts the puck. Emmett Tabor looking to pick it up, can't. Puck comes back up the ice by 902 Elite. Tries to put it in the zone. Brady Neal's there. Manages to keep it out. 902 Elite are offside. And then they recover. Move it across ice to Sardi. Sardi's going to go into the corner. Sardi makes the play out of the corner. Brady Neal coming in. Almost a collision there. Manages to get his head up at the last second and moves that puck behind the net. Brady Neal battling here. Caden Christian down in the corner to Brady Neal. And Ian Moffat on the boards. Manages to disrupt the puck. It goes over to Nelson. Nelson can't quite get a piece of it. And it goes out. But Max Clark picks it back up. Gets it deep into the zone. Ian Moffat on the forecheck here. Goes behind the net. Gets passed over to the defenseman in the corner. Moves that puck up the ice. Ty Moran picks it up. Moves it over to Moffat. Moffat comes in. Can't get a piece of it out of the blue line. Comes back in for Moffat. Moffat's going to put that deep. Defense is going to change here. We've got Carter Hayes coming in for Brady Neal. Reese Vincent on the ice as well. Puck goes over to the corner. Comes back up to Christie on the wall. Gets passed over. Ian Moffat throwing some body against Stumpsy and manages to force an icing. So Excess will get the face-off in the offensive zone. One minute, 16 seconds left in the second period. Still 0-0 hockey game here. Ty Moran on the draw, Ian Moffat and Jackson Flood, as well as Reese Vincent and Jay Faith. Puck is one back. Ian comes in off the wing, manages to get a piece of it, gets it back to the defenseman. Ty Moran and Ian Moffat battling behind the net. Jackson Flood moving behind the net, moving in front of the net, looking for a pass in the middle, and it gets by him. Passes over to O'Neill. O'Neill getting the blue line with Murray. Murray tries to center, gets the pass out front. Shot comes, but it doesn't get on net. Passes back out front. Grayson Trickey doesn't have eyes on it, but it gets over to Jackson Flood. He's just going to put it off the wall and out. Just make a safe play to make sure that we have time to recover back in the defensive zone. Carter Hayes, 6-check, manages to dislodge the puck. Ty Moran back in the corner, helping him out. Puck moves over to the opposite corner to O'Neill. O'Neill back behind the net. Manages to get a pass out front. Good save by Grayson Trickey. They get over and get that stop. Ian with a little bit of a stick to try to slow that puck down. And it's enough time for Grayson to get in. Moffat on the board, gives it over to Moran. Moran's just going to put it into the zone. And then we're going to get a line change here. Forward change by Express. Puck comes back in. 2-on-2. Reese Vincent lunges, manages to disrupt the puck enough that it stops any on-man opportunities. We get a full change in back to our defensive zone. And we've got Liam Berner battling on the wall. Goes to Carter Hayes. Carter's going to move up ice. And that will be the end of the second period. We got a little bit of pushing and shoving going on here after the whistle. Hard to say what might come out of this, if anything. Looks like the referees are just going to let it go. No penalties. That all started with a bit of a spear from the 902 Elite player, and Carter Hayes took exception to it, a little bit of pushing and shoving, but in the end, the referees decided to wash it out, and we're going to go into the third period. Even strength and 0-0. Get a quick chat here by the coaches, and we'll see what we end up seeing here in the third period. Honestly, the way this game's going, very well could be the first goal that wins it. Both goaltenders doing well, lots of tight checking, not a ton of really dangerous opportunities happening on either side. Grayson Trickey has definitely had to be the stronger of the two goalies as of right now. Let's see what we can do in the third period and try to pull out a big W here to open up the Oyster Cup. The whistle is blown. Start of the third period as the goalies take their nets. We're going to start the third period off with Cal Autry, Liam Werner, and Ashton Hannon as our forward line. Missing Noah Parker this weekend. Noah's normally with this team, running 5 defensemen. Jasper Nelson moving up the D to take his spot. Normally Noah would be on this left wing, where Liam Werner is. Liam's had a great game so far playing with these guys. So puck comes back to Ashton. Ashton's going to move that back to Reed. Friars on D. Reed's going to move that up. Gets picked off, however, by Millette in the offensive defensive zone for the Express. Puck limmed around the corner, but again, these boards have some weird play on them. They don't necessarily, the puck doesn't necessarily bounce the way that you expect it to. Kind of comes off the boards hard, flat, right back to the middle. So that's going to go behind the net. You got a little bit of a battle back there with a couple players. Puck comes out to the middle. Cal Lockery disrupted in the center, goes over to Liam Werner. Liam's just going to put that off the wall and out so that Express can get a bit of a change started here. So Liam comes off, and then we've got Cal and Ashton on the forecheck. Ashton disrupts the puck in the corner. Doesn't quite get to Cal Lockery though. And then we get a bit of a flyby here, so that allows Hallett to get down the ice. Shot on net. Great save by Grayson Tricky. Managed to find it and freeze it. That was a very dangerous opportunity, 2-on-1. Great pass by Hallett. Puck just does not find the back of the net. Got lucky here. Great save by Grayson Tricky, not to take anything away from him. But that was a great opportunity, good scoring chance by the 902 Elite. Just cannot find the net. I ran on the draw. Puck comes out. Oh, sorry, that was Caden Christian. Sorry, not Ty Moran. Puck goes over. Getting pressure by Emmett Tabor here. Emmett Tabor on the forecheck. Puck comes up the ice. Jasper Nelson into support. Caden Christian into support. Doesn't quite gain the zone. Manages to dump it in, and then Express is going to go back to collect it. Brady Neal behind the net will rim that up the wall. Doesn't make it to Jasper Nelson before it gets picked off by the 902 Elite. 902 Elite, again, behind the net. Brady Lena on his player gets him pinned, and the puck will come over and be passed up by Emmett Tabor to Jasper Nelson. Gets disrupted here by Sargi, I believe it is, on the 902 Elite. Puck comes into the corner. We got a battle by Nelson and Christian. Puck's up the wall, just past to the middle. Picked off by Vincent. Vincent's going to go in offside, and we will get a draw. There's a full line change on both sides here. With the Ty Moran line out with Hayes and Clark. Against McGillis. Puck comes in. Can't quite get picked up once it gets across the blue line. McGillis in, makes a pass out front. Can't quite get a piece of it on the other side. Grayson Tricky makes the read and decides to freeze that to make sure that nothing dangerous comes out of it. Good job by Grayson to read the situation. I'm Moran again here on the draw. Defensive zone. Puck's won by Kai. Kai tries to get up the wall. Ian Moffat can't quite get enough of it to make that happen. Puck goes to Max Clark. Stands on it a little bit. Kai goes into the corner. Disrupts the play. Puck comes back onto the net. Grayson's going to just stop that. Keep control of the rebound. And force another face-off in our end. We're going to get a line change here by Express. That'll bring out the Cal Lockery line. Defensive zone draw. Puck gets one to the wall, off of Max Clark's stick and directly over the glass. That was actually a really nifty hand-eye coordination play by Clark, but unfortunately the puck goes up and out instead of where he was intending for it to go. Draw is lost by Cal Lockery. Shot on net off the draw. Two back-to-back saves by Grayson Tricky. Huge saves on that one. Managed to keep the puck out of the zone, or out of the net. Cutter Hayes gets the puck behind the net. Gets that up, and we're going to get a power play here with a quick tipping call. Cal Lockery drives in. Grayson Tricky going to the bench of the extra attacker. That should be a second penalty as the Express go in to defend Cal Lockery on the play. Not sure what the call is going to be here. Referees are going to consult with one another, decide what to make of this play. Cal Lockery driven from behind pretty tough into the boards. He's up, moving. Does look like he's in a little bit of distress here, and he's going to be tossed from the game for that hit from behind. So that is going to be Murchison is going to be removed from the game after that hit from behind. Cal Lockery looks like he's favoring his left knee just a little bit, not putting his leg on the ground. Hit pretty tough into the back of into the wall here. And we're going to have O'Neill serve Murchison's penalties. I believe Murchison might have actually had both of the penalty calls on that play. We're going to see what they put up on the scoreboard here, but that's going to be a 4-minute. So he's going to call that a 2-2 is what it looks like. Not entirely sure. Don't have access to the live game feed or anything to know. There's a discussion going on the bench here. Fans are yelling at the referee. It's going to be 2-2 here again. So we got a 2 for tripping, 2 for boarding, I believe, or interference. I'm not sure entirely what it is. And a draw comes over to the Elite. Elite's going to get that up the ice. Just dump that past Max Sparks. Max Sparks in on the back check. Carter Hayes managed to get over, but a shot still comes through. That's handled by the blocker, Grayson Tricky. Pass goes up to Caden Christian. Caden Christian's going to look to enter the zone. Gets a shot on net, just wide. Carter Hayes comes in to try to hold that puck in the zone. Can't quite hold it. Liam Werner over to Reed Friars. Reed's going to try to make a play around McGillis. Can't quite get it by him. McGillis comes in, shot on net. Has to go through some bodies. Grayson Tricky handles it off the stick and managed to keep the rebound in a safe spot. Moves that puck up the wall to Jasper Nelson. Jasper Nelson battling along the wall, loses the battle. Puck comes back in for Reed Friars. Reed Friars going to move that up for Ashton Hannon. Ashton Hannon looking cross ice, puts it in the air, and not quite handled by Jasper. Puck comes back to Reed again. Reed's going to give that back over to Ashton. Ashton loses it a little bit, manages to get picked off by Murray. Murray's going to drive into the zone. Shot on net, just high. Grayson Tricky in good position to make that save. Looked like he had his glove on it. Either way, Brady Neal behind the net gets pressured. He's going to get taken down, no call. Puck goes over from Emmett Tabor to Ashton Hannon. Ashton gets that up for Jasper Nelson. Jasper in on the breakaway. Shot just over the net. Can't quite put it home. Puck gets jumped over the boards. Here comes Ian Moffat. He's going to pick it up the wall. He gets a little bit of body contact there. No harm, no foul. The puck comes back to the middle and then dumped down the ice. Ian came crashing in pretty fast, and his momentum met Barber's, and they just kind of collided. Wasn't much of a play, more so than incidental contact. Puck comes back to down the ice. Emmett Tabor on the forecheck. Puck gets dumped high and down the ice for icing. It was not icing, because they're killing penalty, rather. Reed Friars goes to the corner. Gets taken down. Nobody there to help. Ty Moran comes in to help. Gets the puck back for Brady Neal. Barber here. Ty Moran gets the puck. Looking cross ice. Standing still. Puck comes up to Ian Moffat on his backhand, unfortunately. And he's going to get picked off by 902 Elite and then put back down the ice. Reese Vincent makes pass over to Ian Moffat. Ian Moffat puts the puck up the ice, gets off his stick. And now Jackson Flood is battling Dumpy for the puck. Gets dumped back into the zone. Reese Vincent once again puts that puck up the ice on the Ian Moffat stick. Ian's going to gain the zone here. Goes one-on-one on Reed. Nice little play to try to get the puck in the middle. Jackson Flood can't quite get there in time. Reese Vincent along the boards. Moves the puck to Carter Hayes. Carter Hayes taking a look. Puts it up the wall for Ty Moran. Ty Moran gets a stick on it. Ty's going to go 1-on-3. Doesn't work out. Puck comes back out to Reese Vincent in the neutral zone. Reese is going to get that over to Jackson Flood. Jackson's going to gain the zone. Dump it in. We're going to get a final change here for the forwards on the Express side. Cal Lockery going in with 57 seconds left on the man advantage. Cal waiting for a line change, and then we're looking for a stretch pass here by 902 Elite. Nobody back. Managed to get to the blue line, but good job by Carter Hayes to disrupt that before he goes into the zone. Comes back with some speed. Looks like Caden Christian gains his own, drops back for Cal Lockery. Doesn't get it, but Reed Friars has come up with it. Moves it across ice for Carter Hayes. Carter shot up, mixes the net high and wide. Comes back up the wall. Really dumped down the ice. One last rush here by the Express. If we can get the puck, we got Murphy coming in on Carter Hayes. Ashton Hannon coming in, but 902 Elite managed to keep the puck in. Ashton coming up. Got 10 seconds on the man advantage. 5 minutes left in the period. Ashton's going in 3-on-3 along with Cal Lockery. Dubs it back for Cal. Cal goes into the middle of the ice, shoots. Goes off a stick high and wide and out of the zone. We have 1 second on the power play remaining. This 1 second will result in, I guess not. I guess that's the end of the power play. Looked like there was 1 second remaining on the clock. We're a little bit slow to stop the clock, I think, because there should have been a face-off, 5-on-4. But we are going to go 5-on-5 here. We've got Emmett Tabor taking the draw, gets it back. Oh, deflected out of a shot by Max Sparks. Doesn't quite get on net. Good block by the 902 Elite. Keeps that puck in front. Back behind the net, Emmett Tabor. Emmett loses it behind the net. He's going to go down the ice for icing. We're going to get another draw. No call on that. I guess we're going to say Express touched it or could have touched it. Max Sparks behind the net. Emmett Tabor gets over, battling behind the net. McGillis picks it up, tries to go up the wall, gets net by Reed Friars. Reed Friars comes off the wall with the puck. Reed Friars delaying, puts it off the wall, tries to get up to Nelson. Nelson falls and can't quite recover to get the puck. Reeves, nice pass up the wall to Lewis Christie, I believe. Gets turned away by Reed Friars, goes to Nelson. Nelson's going to dump it in. Emmett Tabor driving in for the puck. Can't quite get to it. Another behind the net pass over to Reeves. 902 Elite team moves the puck east-west really well. Gets stopped by Brady Neal on McGillis. Reese Vincent behind the net. He's just going to grab that, put it up the wall, puts it on the stick of McGillis. McGillis is going to look out front. Goes off the stick. Dangerous chance here. Misses the net just barely. We've got a 902 Elite player without a stick. Otherwise, that probably ends up in the back of the net. Comes out to Reeves. Reeves goes for the shot. Deflected and kept out by Grayson Tricky. Comes back up the wall to the Elite. Elite back to Reeves again. Reeves with another shot, another save. Rebound, goal. And that'll be the first goal of the game by the 902 Elite with 3 minutes and 49 seconds remaining. Grayson handles the first shot off of from the point. Goes to the weak side on him and gets tapped in for the first goal of the game. And that will put us at a 1-0 lead for the 902 Elite. Not a great spot for us to be in with only 3 minutes and 49 seconds remaining. But we'll line up for the draw and see if we can get this one back. Tyman loses the puck, goes back to Stoner. Puck comes up the wall, goes to Dumpy. Dumpy coming in over the blue line. Offside, goes for the shot anyway. Again, 1-0 hockey game. Goal just happened. This is going to be a draw just outside of the Express zone after an offside play by the 902 Elite. Puck gets won back by Kai Moran clean. Goes to Hayes, puts it up off the glass to Moffett. Bounces off of the stick and goes to the Elite, comes back in. Over to Flood. Flood can't quite get a hold of it. Comes back down for Max Sparks. Max Sparks puts it behind the net for Hayes. Moffat's going to stay on the defensive side of his player as it gets rimmed back around. Comes up the wall to Flood. Flood tries to make a play at the blue line, gets knocked away. Comes back into the neutral zone. That's going to go to the Elite. Elite has done a great job of picking up pucks in the neutral zone and moving them back up ice. Express has done a great job of trying to keep them out of the zone for the most part in this game, other than a couple of plays that have resulted in some scoring chances. That one's just going to get dumped in on Tricky. Tricky will play it over to Clark. Clark's going to take a look up. He'll move it up the ice. That's going to go to Werner. Werner's going to come in. Tries to get a shot on net. Manages to get through, but not a whole lot on it. Comes back out front for Lockery. Lockery can't get a piece of it. Barber's going to drive up the ice. Goes one-on-one. Manages to get by the Express defense and puts it back behind the net. Pucks on the back of the net. And then we're just going to get a whistle. 2 minutes and 31 seconds remaining in the third period. Express looking to tie this one up. It's been a very close game so far. We absolutely can see this one get tied up. Tricky has had to be steady in net. He's had to be ready for some pretty dangerous chances. And he has been there for the most part, other than that last one. And honestly, he was there. He just beat him on a good rebound play. Puck comes out off to the blue line. Back down the wall. Gets out front. Disrupted in front of the net by Ashton Hannon. Reed Fires battling down below the goal line. Gets cycled back behind the net. Going to come back to the corner. Going to look to go up the wall. Moves cross ice. Nobody there. Just get a puck dumped on net. Hits a body. Actually turns into a dangerous chance out front. Grayson Tricky managed to get a piece of it. Puck comes up the ice to Jasper Nelson. Jasper's 2-on-1 here with Ashton Hannon. Gets over to Ashton. Ashton with a shot. Good save by the 902 Elite goalie. Comes back up the wall for Cal Lockery. Cal gets stopped. And Jasper's going to battle to try to keep this one in. Jasper and Cal battling along the wall. Puck comes over, slips across the blue line, but that's going to be offside. Reed Friars not seeing action still in the offensive zone. Good change on the forwards with Caden Christian coming in for Jasper Nelson. We've got Cal Lockery, Caden Christian, Ashton Hannon on the ice. Puck gets moved behind the net. Ashton looks to pick that up in the corner. Tries to make a play back behind the net. Gets held off by the 902 Elite, who get that puck by Carter Hayes. Carter holds up his man long enough to Reed Friars to get a piece of the puck. Reed puts it up the wall, loses the puck briefly, and then the 902 Elite come back in. Great stick by Reed to disrupt that puck off of the player's stick. Ashton picks it up, moves it up to Cal. Cal's just going to get a piece of it, tip it into the zone. Foot race here by Reeves and Lockery. Comes out front, can't quite get a piece of it, is Caden Christian. Puck goes back down behind the net. Cal working below the goal line, looking for an opportunity to make a play here. We are now empty net, 6-on-5. Puck comes out, gets tipped by the 902 Elite. We're in a foot race. Cal Lockery makes a diving play to try to keep that one out, and we end up offside by the 902 Elite. Quite a sequence there with 48 seconds left in the game. Express with an empty net, looking to even this one out. Tracy Tricky going back into the goal with the face-off in the defensive side of the neutral zone. Face-off won by 902 Elite. Gets back to the defense. Stoner goes off Ashton Hannon's leg. Ashton felt that one. Took him down, but he's back in. He's moving his way to the bench. That one definitely hit Ashton in the funny part of his leg. Tricky keeps that puck alive, trying not to get a face-off in our end. Puck goes off the referee's skate, comes out to Cal. Cal's going to try to play that up for Christian. They managed to get it out and into the offensive half of the neutral zone. Puck goes deep into the corner. 902 Elite's going to look to move that D to D, as they've done so many times this game. Reed Friars in on the forecheck, managed to get into the corner. We've got Carter Hayes patrolling the blue line all by himself. No support out here, but it's a 17 seconds remaining in the period. We're just looking to get something happen here. Get a goal, get a shot on net, anything. Cal Lockery comes in, gets his shot, and we get a glove save with almost no time left on the clock. The clock continued to run for about 3 or 4 seconds after the save, after the whistle. We're going to get an argument from the Express coaches. Not sure if we're going to get some time put back up on the clock or not. Looks like it's going to be no time added. We're going to go 5.9 seconds, 6-on-5. One opportunity off the face-off to try to tie this up. Oh, we do have some time being changed here. Not sure what we're doing. It's 0.6 seconds right now. Just waiting to see what's going to end up going on the clock here. We know how much time we have to work with. Six seconds. We got 6 seconds on the clock. They put 0.1 seconds back up on the clock. They probably should have just left it at 5.9. But what can happen in 0.1 seconds? Shaw has stepped in, comes out of the blue line, dumped in by Reed Friars. That's going to be the end of the game. Great effort by the Express here, coming out just short on a really tight game, 1-0. The lone goal scored by 902 Elite. Grayson Tricky with a great game to open the tournament. Unfortunately, just no scoring punch behind the Express. Weren't really able to get any really dangerous chances. There's a couple that were close. I'd say close to dangerous, but certainly not anything that we are used to seeing out of this crew. So we'll get a handshake, move on to, I believe it's 5 p.m. sometime thereabouts this evening. Hopefully we'll have better Wi-Fi at the next rink, and we'll be able to live stream that one. But we'll go ahead and get this one uploaded as soon as possible and just watch for it on YouTube. We'll share it on the Facebook page. Thanks again for supporting the kids here. They appreciate everybody watching and cheering them on back home, and of course those that have made the trip to the island here. Let's see what we have for player of the game. If I were to put money on it, I would say our Express player of the game is going to be Grayson Tricky. Absolutely. The only right answer in this case. A lot of guys had some decent games, but Grayson is the reason we ended up in a 1-0 loss. So kept that one really close. He absolutely gave us a chance to win. And both goalies with the victory here. The player of the game honors. Shutout on one end, a great game that was darn near close to a shutout on the other end. And hopefully we see these guys again at some point in this tournament. I'd like to see us build off of this and see what we look like towards the end. But either way, that's the end of our broadcast for today. So thanks very much for checking us out. And we'll be back this evening for game number 2. Thank you very much.